Well, that's not going to work like that. I don't think this phone holder is going to go wide enough. No, it won't. Well, let's see. How's that? But you can't see me. Now work on a little. Yeah, how's that? Maybe. Nelson, I'm trying to figure out how to work on this here. I see you're in there. I figure if I'm ever going to do a live, I better do a test run somewhere, so. I started making a video working on my grain drill. But I got these aftermarket type tubes here that I'm working on putting together. Seemed like they'll work out. I mocked one up on a drill already, so we'll see how that works. I see why guys have trouble with comments. Oh, there we go, they pop up. Victor, is that you on there? Looks like. Well, my first live stream, I've got visitors from faraway land. Oh, Victor. So these tubes, top wire goes on here. See why I need to change them? This one here might not be much fun. Yeah, we'll save that one for later. We'll save that one for later. That one's going to require a... Here's how most of them are cobbled together like that, so I'm just breaking them off. Kind of working on them with the pliers. Grain drill's an old case. I'll put a video together of the whole thing here at some point when we're done. I said my first live stream was going to be when we Bryce, and we're working on the Lord's Day again. Yeah, that's about right. The schedule I got at work, I don't know if you guys have noticed yet that my videos kind of come in batches, even the shorts and stuff. I got a stretch where I'm off for... I work 12-hour shifts. So I got 5 12-hour shifts and I'm off 2 days, and I got 2 12-hour shifts and I'm off 5 days, so... I'm on the 5 off right now, so it's been working pretty good for getting farm stuff done. So we'll get it pulled up on the sides there like that, and then I cut the the wires off. I always end up with it backwards. Get a hold of it. Then that wire over, that pulls it up kind of nice. Bend that one over. Crimp them down good with these lineman pliers. EAB Farms. I gotta learn how to keep those visible in there. Oh, Ed is here. Hello, Ed. Yeah, I don't know why can I roll the chat backwards? Oh yeah, there we go. EAB, yeah, it's raining up here too. We've had a slow, I don't know, we're probably on about 4 hours steady now. It's not bad. I mean, it's certainly not dry around here, but I'm not gonna complain about it at all. Definitely be good for the rye. Probably keep me on the fields for a few more days, but I got time yet to stuff we're planting. We're not that. Being that I'm in the part of Minnesota where you can barely grow oats, let alone corn, we don't have to worry too much about our planting date. And the oats can go in a, it's probably going to be wrapped anyway, so. Then I'm going 11 up here, so when this thing is in there with the discs down, ends up like that, and bottom gets wired to your opener down there. I put one together and tested it. It seems to work with that up. So Nelson's pulling joysticks in the excavator. Well, it's not my weekend to work, so I don't have to do any of that. Bryce has got no rain, overcast and in the 50s. Yeah, I think it was about 48 or so. Brent is here. Oh, good to see you here too, Brent. Raining in your part of the world? Bryce says I should grow flax. Never even considered that, Bryce. I don't know much about flax at all. I'm just trying to feed a few cows. No rain yet that Brent's there. Well, he's not terribly far away from me. It's a bit of a drive up there on the nice back roads, but well, at least some of you guys managed to make it. I thought maybe I'd get somebody in here if I did this on a Sunday afternoon. I'm glad to see you all here. This YouTube business is, I don't know, it's kind of fun. Every video I make, I learn something. My computer skills are adequate, but I'm no wizard, that's for sure, so. Might be an easier way. There's still a few things I'm trying to figure out, that's for sure. But Brent, it's a case, 8 foot. I think it's an L model case. At least I've been using the internet, a rate chart I found on there. When I was a kid, I hauled this up from my dad's. He hasn't been planting anything. Years ago, we used to plant oats and hayseed. That was standard for that part of the UP of Michigan there. I mean, we didn't do anything. Nobody did anything crazy. Heck, I don't even know anybody that planted barley until I did, before I moved up here, which made pretty good cow feed. So yeah, I think it's an L model case. It does the job. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to do a rate test when I plant. I'm gonna try sorghum in a field behind the barn after the winter rye. Hey, Will, say hi, Tylin. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, I think for sorghum, I'll just block off one, see how much I can get out of do the calculation with 16 tubes and how much you're getting out of one to over what distance. Calculate a fraction of an acre to figure out how much sorghum, because I have not found anything to see what that does. We'll see if this weather works. The plan here is I'm going to be the only person I heard of. This is my goal for the summer. My phone tipped. I got this winter rye. Cut it, bale it, wrap it, and Rick Bork got beer. Rick, I gave that up years ago. I was a little too good at it, I guess, so I gave it up completely, but you go right ahead. So my plan is bale the rye, get the sorghum in the ground in June. Hopefully we get the weather. I'll put my manure will go on that field. Hopefully we will get the weather where when the rye comes off in June, I can put the sorghum in. We actually get something resembling rain this summer. I'll cut it once at about 4 feet high, and I'll cut it once again when I'm getting scared of frost. Get 3 cuttings of anything around here. And yeah, I got to plant annuals to do it, but you're lucky to get 2 cuttings of hay around here. One of the reasons I bought the wrapper was to try to do that so I can cut it early enough that I'll get be able to take a second cutting off of it, whether it be dry or, say maybe August, whether it be dry or whether I wrap it. Because a lot of times here, we got a dry spring here. Other side of the lake, I'm not used to it being this dry in the spring here. We get a dry year, and Rick's laughing. 3 cuttings, he says. Well, Rick, we're gonna see. That's the idea. So there we got another one together. So we'll see what kind of summer it is and see if that's a possibility. I know I may be dreaming, but that millet would have been really nice last year if we would have got any rain at all. As it was, that's the only thing that got me through the winter. Thailand says it's winter. We skipped spring and summer. Yeah, Bryce, that Sudan is no good for that prussic acid and that stuff. It's no good after the frost. You know what time of year we can get frosts around here, so the second cutting on that might be iffy. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'll let it go taller and just go for one big one. We'll see how that works. What really ticks me off is what fuel and fertilizer, these experiments of mine cost some, they get to be expensive experiments if they don't work out, so. I mean, last year, the millet experiment, I never tried millet before in my life, but the millet experiment worked, and like I said, that's what got me through the winter. Cows, I think, are on the, I didn't think I had any millet bales left. There was the one I grabbed yesterday I thought was oat bale left, but it was not. It was a millet, so I miscounted somewhere. All I got left for silage bales is one mini, which I'll feed after this, and then I don't know if I'll have pasture by then. I'll be feeding dry hay, so. Gotta keep my dairy cow milking. It'd be nice if I had some more of those silage bales. When I started feeding those last winter, before we dried her up, it was a bad time to dry her up because she started about double what she was milking on those millet bales, so. I certainly don't need the milk we're getting now. I think we got 64 pounds yesterday, which isn't bad for a Jersey cow on the feed that it's. Nelson's got to run. Well, Nelson, I am very glad that you stopped by. And yeah, we'll do this again in the future. Not a bad way to get content on YouTube from the garage with the phone. Wasn't even too difficult to set up. One more time around. There we go. There's another one. This beauty job there had lots of plastic pipe scraps laying around when I was working for the well driller. So this was back when I was still in Michigan, planted barley with it. That would have been, what, 13 years ago that I put these on there. And then I had the brilliant idea. I heated them up a little bit and flared them out, which doesn't make them very easy to pull out of there. Brent says mixed Austrian field peas, Timothy, and clover 1 year. Cows love that. Yeah, I bet they would. Last spring, I planted oats and peas. So, well, I got that wrapper now. So we're going to wrap oats and peas. And oats came up and the peas came up. And if anybody thinks you can't freeze oats, the peas survived. Anybody thinks you can't freeze oats, you can freeze oats because it got 8 degrees here. It was below freezing for, I figure, 22 hours. That oats was up about that high. And it froze. It froze the canary grass. Canary grass is probably, I'm no great fan of canary grass, but there's plenty of it on the edge of every field in this part of the world. So the canary grass actually turned brown and died. And then it was so dry it didn't really come back. So that oats froze. In fact, the first video I ever put on YouTube, 4230 with Industrious America disc, which I got to do one of the reasons I put that on there is when I was looking at that disc, there was so much, you couldn't find much on the internet about them. So that's why I put that on there. I got to do a walk around on that disc someday. I'll do a video on that in case there's somebody searches it from time to time. It had quite a few views on it. Well, quite a few views for me, but I'm gonna guess that's the reason why anybody searching for that disc, they probably, that popped up. But yeah, I gotta do a walk around and we'll talk about that one sometime. Maybe someday when we're gonna actually use it, which I'm gonna try not to burn much fuel. We don't have a, we'll see at the neighbors down the road over there if there's much use for that disc, or if I can just pull the light one through it. It was disked up pretty good last fall. And maybe someday too I should find a mold board for that tractor for, I don't know, what I'm trying to do, the pasture renovation, whatever else around here, it's Bryce likes my barn. Yeah, Bryce, it's a pretty nice barn. I got to do a walkthrough on that. You know what I figured out? I mean, this winter when I started making a few videos, I'm like, what am I going to make videos about? Heck, I can make a video about that whole barn. Nice thing about that barn is I talked to a guy. I used to cut his hay down the road. Sold the place now. Wintering in warmer climates. I think they winter down in Missouri somewhere. They don't run all the way to Texas or Arizona or something. I think they winter down. But anyway, that barn was built in '61, according to him. He said he was 9 years old at the time. And I'll have to do a walkthrough in there. There's a few things I want to do to it. They used to put... I always wondered why it was set up the way it's set up. It almost looked like it was set up for loose hay. Well, who in the world was going to set a barn up for loose hay in '61? But what they did is they still got the loft doors on there. And they'd spear the bales off the trailer and, fly them in there. And have the release on the track and drop the bale. So there is no loft in that barn. For storage, I could put cows underneath and put some squares up above. You wouldn't, none of you would happen to know there's a cheap square baler, would you? Not that I'm really interested in making square bales when I got a nice round baler that works, but it was handy having some this winter. Stuff you feed inside, it's just a heck of a whole lot easier than peeling it off a round bale and forking it to the horses. And I guess if you want to have horses bad enough, you'll do that. But so yeah, I'd like to get a loft floor in there. To get a loft floor in there, that's going to require me getting a sawmill running, which is out the window over there. And we'll have to cut a bunch of tamarack. $224T John Deere work for me, Brent. Yeah, a 224T would be fine. My hay equipment right now is all red. Not by any design, that just happens to be what I ended up with. I grew up on 14 and 24Ts. That was kind of a little Phillips screwdriver over here. I'll have to go get one off the bench over there. Yeah, I know the wife would like to continue having some small squares in a barn because it is a whole lot nicer for anything you're feeding inside, a calf or whatever. Ed, I've thought of that frost seeding clover. That'd be the only way I could really get any seed in the ground like ahead of time like that. I'd have to do it on the frost. This ground around here is, I don't know, it's not big. As long as you got moisture, it'll grow grass, I'll tell you that. I've got some actually looks like Red River Valley muck ground almost. It's not very deep till you hit the hard pan clay underneath, so, but it's heck of a high organic matter and grows stuff like crazy as long as you can get a tractor across it, which on a wet year you can't even get in what I pasture in the back there. It'd be nice to have a few stray fields around, or I shouldn't say a few stray fields, a few fields on the home place here that a little more acreage that was plantable. Bryce says, till his dad died in 74, we put up loose hay. Dad said it was easier on a cow's mouth. I have heard that. Ed says small bales suck, but we have to have them. Ed, I'm one of those crazies. Like I said, where I come from wasn't exactly a huge farming area, but there was a lot of beef cows around there and a fair amount of horse people. And I mean, I know there's some places that make an awful lot of hay, but when I was in high school, between us, the neighbor, and my aunt and uncle, and a high school age kid, I was good for 10 to 12,000 bales a year. So I cut for everybody, I raked for everybody, and the truth is I loved every minute of it. Yes, even stuffing stuff up in the rafters. At my parents, my grandpa had a heck of a nice bank barn, dairy barn you could pull right in. And we put an elevator up when we pile pile as high as you could throw off the trailers, put an elevator up, and keep working your way back. Just pull loads home with a John Deere B. Pull them up the top of the hill, pull a pin, come around the back, you have a little push bar on it, and guide that trailer in that way. That worked pretty nice. But yeah, I did lots of elevators and lofts. What were the sidewalls? My mom and dad's barn, I think, had 12-foot sidewalls, so we just start building a Ed says they made 250,000 or more small squares. Yeah, Ed, some guys definitely did. Like I said, for that was 10 to 12,000 was big, pretty big haying in that part of the world, but I know there's guys out there make a heck of a lot more than that. So I think I'm down. What do I got left? I got 3 left, 2 that are bolted together, and this one that's gonna require some work. So see how we would just take throw them off the trailer in that pole building with 12-foot sidewalls and stuff them up in the rafters. Looks like we'll get this one apart. It says that was before they had a bale wagon. Yeah, there'd be this one got pushed up inside there, full of junk, and that end's all chewed up. Well, I said I got a few things to do with those there. Bryce says his dad had a Minnesota Prison Industries hay loader. It worked good. We used slings. I've heard of those. I've never seen one. Here, I gotta go back to... Brent says his buddy had that 224. Yeah, and if you know of one, let me know. Brent says to Bryce, sounds like my dad. I asked if we could get a baler. His reply was, what do we need that for? Yeah, where I come from was a lot of, I don't know if I want to say backwards farming, but, you know, better keep the old loose hay system. You don't know if them newfangled balers are going to, you know, who knows, in 10 years they might prove out to be a bad idea. I mean, there was a lot of, yeah, Bryce. Dad says, what does he need a barn cleaner for when he's got 2 already? That's, I think that's why my parents had 5 kids. That one's going to require a vise and a little work to get that one out. So, well, I've been on here over half hour already. So, things work all right. I didn't think I had the greatest signal when I started up here, but must not be too terribly bad. Nobody said anything about it, so I think we'll call this good, and I'll get these last 3 that are going to be a pain with the bolts in them, get those pulled apart and get done here, and we'll see what we're going to do. Maybe I'll do this again sometime when I'm in here doing something. I was going to make my first live stream from the tractor baling rye, but I figured I better try it a time or two before I did that. So was good to talk to you guys, and we'll see you next time when we do this.